everyone.
I'm Steph.
I'm Michael.
And today we have our top 10 games that we learned in November
Of,
2024.
I mean, we have been doing this for multiple years. You got to put the year in there.
Oh, okay. Just check the date on when it was published.
That's right. So, obviously, these are not games that were published in November 2024. They could have been games that were published months and months and months ago. They could be games that have not yet even been published.
True.
But they are games that we played in November 2024.
I think all of mine are actually pretty recent. So I think yours are the ones that aren't necessarily recent.
This
is an unusual month.
Mine seem to be mostly. We'll see.
We got good games to talk about.
That's right. Usually most of our games were provided by the publisher. Both you and I, both of us have 4 games that were not even provided by the publisher.
Nope.
So.
Because we went to BGG-Con.
That's right.
So we had opportunities to play other games.
That's right. So just to reconfirm that just having us review a game does not guarantee you're going to get on any of our lists or even going to be streamed at all.
It's true.
So publishers don't provide these games to us in exchange for any sort of considerations, but they do give it to us because they know we like to play all the games. We're up to 470-ish.
I've learned 470 games this year so far, so I have to learn at least 30 in December in order to hit my 500 goal of 500
right.
games.
And me too.
Yeah, I think we can do it.
Not 500 games, 500 new to us games. So,
I want to just first mention I have a really cool, awesome gaming calendar available right now for those who need a calendar for the coming up year. It makes for great holiday gifts for those looking for a fun, colorful gift this holiday season. Thanks for checking that out.
That's right. And I put the link in the chat. I believe there is an Equid has changed their name. So it might pop up with a different domain whenever you click through. I think it's shop or something. I'm not quite sure. Okay. But that is Steph's shop. And you can purchase her 2025 gaming calendar there and the 2024 if you missed this year's calendar.
Absolutely.
Where you've got that on sale, right?
Yeah, $15.
That's right. Well, no, you've got the 2024 on sale.
Oh, that's like $5.
Yes, even cheaper. So, starting off with my number 10 game, not provided yet by the publisher, though we do have a relationship with Blue Orange. It is Lynx City. So, for those of you who enjoy cooperative, what am I trying to think games, this is a game where you are trying to create a city cooperatively. It sort of reminded 2 of us at the table who were playing. It reminded us of Sim City, where you're like creating neighborhoods in a simulated city. So basically we are going to have some tiles get turned over and, well, let me back up. I think everyone at the table is going to place 3 of these little traffic cones onto spots in the city adjacent to where other things already are, like next to a military base or a tattoo parlor or a grocery store or a museum or a park or a cell phone store, something in a city like that. You're going to put the little traffic cones out, the group will, and then the architect is going to flip over 3 tiles and then going to decide where they want to put those 3 tiles with those 3 traffic cones. Like I want I've got a music store that is going to be placed. Well, maybe do I put it next to the military base? Do I put it next to the park? You
Put it
know,
next to the mall.
where do I need to put this? Oh, and hey, I've got a condo here. Where do I want to put the condo in this city? Because I'm trying to make it so everyone else can guess where those three things are. If it's right, then that's going to go into the city, and that's great. And if not, then we have to put it sort of diagonally to something else in the city. It doesn't get where it wants to go, and you're going to get points for having pieces in your city that are contiguous next to one another. It's super fun, but you have to have the right group
We did not.
where you are thinking alike.
I was not on anybody's wavelength. I was not. I'm like, why? Why would you put it there? No, I was not good at this game, but I do enjoy the challenge.
So to me, this does seem like a super fun game where, I always enjoy the what am I thinking games.
Yeah, me too.
And
who knows what's in your
who is blue and orange and sometimes a bit of a traffic cone. But I'm blue and yellow. It's Senor Azul.
Do you like this game, Senor Azul?
I think I would. I think I am the great and powerful architect.
You'd put all the right spots.
Of course. Ambitious bomb. Did you play any games this month, Senor Azul? Nope.
No, he doesn't actually play games.
I mean, not all the time. It's got to be a good abstract.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my number 10, Lynx City from Blue Orange.
Nice. My number 10 is Unconscious Mind. I know. It's for those who like to go to Dreamland.
Yeah.
This is from Lucky Duck Games and was provided by Lucky Duck Games. So this game is it has a big table footprint. Like you are be taking up a lot of the table with this game. Even for 2 players, Michael and I took up the whole table at BGG-Con. We're like sprawled out.
Yeah.
So
it took us a while to get through the rules, but never fear, we've got a teach and playthrough video.
Yes.
That you can check out.
And but you know what? It took a while to go through the rule book, but I don't think they were like missing anything. Like I feel like we got most of our stuff in.
Oh yeah, everything is there.
So I think they did a good job with the rule book there, but it's just like a lot to process at once. And ultimately, it's like a action selection game on your turn. So you're gonna choose one aspect of the game to take on your turn, and then it'll be the next player's turn. So you might be like helping your patient out in their session, or you might be passing and collecting your stuff back from the board, or you're going to worker placement style place your action tokens onto a board and take an action. So there's a lot of different things happening in this game that keeps it really interesting. The artwork is amazing. The production quality is amazing. So I think there is like room to explore different like ways to play the game. Like I feel like I haven't really explored the traveling of the board very much. Like there's a pawn that moves around the centralized city board, and so I haven't done that really at all. So I'm curious as to
neither of us
focusing a little bit on that and seeing how that might change up my strategy. So it's a big game. So you have to know that going in that you'll be at that table a minute.
Right. And definitely crunchy.
Yeah, definitely crunchy.
So my one complaint with Unconscious Mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the mechanics. I like what it wants to do. The fact that it is you can push the end of the game by collecting these reputation points. And the main kicker is you will only collectively get 9 reputation amongst everyone at the table. And once 9 have been triggered, that's it. And you get points for those reputation points. Well, Steph was at 6 and I was at 2. Both games we played, unfortunately, whether it was due to table position, player position, first and second player, or whether it was due to just not playing well or something, I could not get those reputation tokens. Every time, there was one time specifically, I was trying to get the reputation token in one corner of the board, and the pieces moved off of that corner every single time I wanted it. And I was like, I can't do anything here.
Yeah.
And eventually, when it was 6-2 and I had the chance to end it, I had to end it because otherwise I wasn't getting any points, because you get points for that. And so
It's possible that I am just good at games, but sometimes there are games I'm just good at. Like Nucleum, I'm
yes,
good at Nucleum, and I'm pretty good at
you
Unconscious Mind.
kill everyone at Nucleum every time.
Mosaic. I'm
And
not bad at Mosaic either.
yeah, though
So-
I don't know, I do have my fair share of wins at Mosaic, but I also I think total win percentage were probably 55-45. 55% to 45%.
I think I'm
Last we checked. No.
for Mosaic.
No, I'm talking about overall.
Oh, overall, you beat me more often than not. Yeah.
Not well, when you say more often than not, 55% is not a lot higher.
That's true.
It is just this much higher. But everybody else that you play against, I mean, Sweet Amy will tell you on the chat, if she is still watching, you tend to blow away everybody in your Tuesday and Thursday groups.
Everybody. Most people. Not everybody.
But Unconscious Mind, you know exactly how to do that. But again, I'm not sure whether it was player position or just bad luck or what. And you really don't want games decided by.
Right. I mean, I want to play it again, maybe with more people, but I honestly think 2 players is probably the best player count. So but just because of that like race element of trying to get those points to trigger the end.
Yeah.
I feel like
might be better with more. And we've only played.
I'm thinking it might be better with 2.
Oh, really?
Because you get more chances to get those points.
I'd rather they be distributed more.
Mm. So I want.
So we'll see.
I want to see with another play maybe. So
let's go.
Let's go, fierce competitor.
That's me.
No,
not you.
So that was my number 10.
Unconscious Mind from Lucky Duck Games.
Yep.
My number 9, also not provided by the publisher. This is one that was shown by W. Eric Martin from BGG News. It is What the Fog from 999 Games.
Yeah.
In What the Fog, you are all weathermen. Let's take Senor Zilway. No! And weathermen and weatherwomen, weather predictors, and trying to predict what the weather is going to be based on the cards we have in our hands. So you are going to predict what you think the weather is going to be on a 4-day period, I believe, at the start. There are like 4 different segments of the day, 4 or 5 different segments during the day, and you're going to put these tokens on the board based on how you think you're going to do. If I've got lots of lightning storms and windy weather or sunny weather, I want those to appear most often up in this display. Here's the catch, though. You are not trying to predict the best. You are trying to predict how you will predict. Double prediction. It's sort of weird, sort of meta. So if there are 4 days here, I have to predict how many of these days will I be the best predictor at the table. And as you go, you are going to say whether you want to have one more day added to your prediction score. Like if I think I've got 2 out of these 4 days nailed, then when it comes time for me to move my little meeple forward, I need to say, yeah, move me up. But if I think that I don't have the days anymore, I can't go backward. Once I've predicted that I am going to win at least 2 days, and then it's already too late. You can't go back down to 1 day. And then that's going to get resolved. If you hit your days exactly, you will get points. Otherwise, you lose points. Like if you're even 1 day off. So that's not good.
Yeah, that's what's difficult.
Yeah.
Like, so for me, I like the game,
Kimmy.
but I think, if you have a really bad hand of cards, like my first round, I had all lightning and we didn't have any lightning tiles show up. So I couldn't get any points. And then I ended up winning a day. And you're like, how did I win a day?
Because everyone else had worse.
Yeah. And so like, okay, I ended up losing a point in the first round. Oh, it's tough because you can't really come back.
Right.
From like a big round loss.
Yeah.
Or even losing a round.
And then you're going to do that again with one more day added, so there's more opportunities. And so 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, and then you're done. But it's weird if you have like one of every card.
Yeah.
Like one wind, one sun, one rain, one storm, one fog. It's going to be difficult to win any of those days.
Yes.
Even if, like, let's say that I have one of each and this day has one of each. Well, if she's sitting there with a whole ton of storm cards, she is equally as likely to win it as I am because she has 4 storm cards in her hand, which counts as 4 points for that storm token on the board. It can be tough. It's sometimes difficult.
It's really hard to gauge how you're gonna do, and then you win one with like 3 strength, and you're like, how?
Yeah, exactly.
But it happens. It is interesting.
It is interesting, though.
It's different, and I do like Leo Colavini.
Right.
His most recent game that I absolutely love is Kazuka.
Oh, yeah.
You guys probably all heard me talk about. Like
your game of the year that year, or close to it, is like top 4.
Love Kazuka. It's a fantastic game. So, his designs are always a little bit different, which I really appreciate.
This is unique, and that is so. There are certain ways to get on my top 10 list, and it's not by me. Usually, it's not by me doing well. Usually, if I do well, I'm like, no, I don't like this game because I do well at it. I like games where I'm challenged. I like games with intelligent design, and on the flip side of that, games with lazy design tend to not make my list. I like games with replayability. I like games with wide, open decision space. So if you see those sort of games on my top 10, that's usually what got them there, are those sort of games.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool.
And that's my number 9. What the Fog from 999 Games.
Mine, my number 9 is a small little card game for 2 players that we pulled off the shelf at BGG called Agent Avenue from Nerd Lab. Not provided by Nerd Lab, but I might request it because I quite enjoyed it. It is an I split you choose mechanic where I take cards from my hand and put one face up and one face down, and then my opponent must take one to add to their collections. It's a set collection game. All the while you're running around this board trying to catch the other player. It's like that game of Survivor when they're in the water, they're trying to catch up to the other player.
Oh yeah.
So you're trying to like chase them. You start on the opposite sides. Mm-hmm. But there's other ways to win as well by collecting the right sets, or I think you can lose by collecting the wrong sets. So there's multiple ways to play the game as well. A simple, quick little filler, which I liked.
I think that there's one set of characters that if you get 3 of these, you automatically lose, unless you have this character, in which case you automatically win.
Right.
And so it's like, I want to feed these to you. No, I no longer want to feed these to you. And now I have to decide, do I put those in front of you? And I think you have, I don't know, you have 3 cards to choose, but you only put 2
out, yeah.
Or 4 cards or so, because I may not want to put down any of these for you.
Right.
So I have to decide, is this the time to sneak one in that I end up taking?
Or do you take the mystery meat and hope you don't die.
Exactly.
And maybe she's hiding the good one. I like those choices.
Yeah.
I like the I split you choose mechanic a lot, and I want to see more games with that mechanic. So
Absolutely. I
hopefully
agree.
we see more of those. So
I
that was my
agree.
number 9.
Agent Avenue from Nerd Lab.
Yes.
My number 8 game is from Matago, and it is right here. It, in case you can't see what this is, because the title is hidden, it is Habachi
That's
from
right.
Matago, obviously provided by the publisher. I have long had a game design idea, or at least a game design mechanic that I wanted to flesh out into an idea of dexterity worker placement. Now, this is not necessarily dexterity worker placement, but it's not far off because you are tossing your chips onto this game board that has an enclosed sort of dual layer structure to it, where you're tossing it onto the board and you're trying to get your disc to at least touch these ingredients that you are trying to collect together. Now, again, it's not worker placement, but it's sort of resource collection by dexterity, which, like I say, is not too far off from what I have envisioned in my head. Now that I know that something like this is possible, maybe I will toss that idea to people.
It's funny because this is essentially a remake of Safranito, which I played years and years ago. I don't know exactly the changes that they made other than the artwork, obviously. But in the same idea, you're throwing these to collect the different resources and gather orders.
Right.
So I was excited to see it because it was really popular back when it came out, but it was really hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
So now that they've like redone that, you can find it, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, everybody loves a good dexterity game, and this one doesn't require like, I wouldn't say it doesn't require skill because there's some skill, but it's like everybody can throw a disc.
Right.
Like, or not everybody, but like most people can throw a disc.
And there's even ways to get back at your opponents. So if like Steph has positioned herself onto a bonus area or onto an ingredient that you really want, boop, you can knock her right off.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, there were multiple times that Hayden just was like fluid and it flew off the table. So that's gonna happen. But
exactly. But yeah, there's also limited ingredients that come out. Sometimes there will be one coming out, like you really need rice to complete your order, and no rice comes out. What am I going to do?
That's right.
So there's it's not just simple throwing discs. There's also the order completion thing that's going on where you're collecting ingredients.
Yeah.
So
it's cool.
For all of those reasons, this makes my number 8 on the list, Hibachi from Matago.
Yeah. My number 8 was provided. It is called Lynx from Play to Z Games. This we just played on stream just like the other day, so check out our playthrough. It's a really fun simultaneous card selection. You have 4 cards. You're choosing one of these actions to perform each round. You look at a market, you see, oh, there's tons of bunnies. Well, maybe you try and catch a bunny. Oh, there's tons of lynx. Maybe you try and catch a lynx. Or if you have some lynx pelts that you can sell, you take the sell action if it's a good price. And hopefully nobody else does what you want to do.
Because if someone does,
your prices will change. And what you're going to have to pay in order to catch those rabbits or those lynx will change. So
if too many hunters are hunting hares at the same time or hunting lynx at the same time.
Yeah, and
it
so
makes things difficult.
I really enjoy the simultaneous selection. Okay,
love it.
If I'm taking this card, what cards am I gonna pair with it to see how in turn order I'm gonna be able to catch these lynx, or in turn order am I able to sell these pelts? So very simple game, I would say. It's more about trying to read what's happening at the table. Oh, they caught last round. They might want to sell this round, so maybe I'll go catch the lynx this time and they'll go sell. So you have to kind of watch what people are doing.
Unless your name is Amy, and then Amy and Steph are on the same brainwave.
She got me every time. So It's a lot of fun though. I like it a lot.
I agree entirely.
Yes.
So that is Lynx from Play to Z Games. My number 7 and your number 7 are exactly the
Woo,
same.
double crossover.
But I gotta say this before we even get to it.
Yes.
Let's think about this. How many of these games did we play at BGG Con? Link City, Unconscious Mind, What the Fog, Agent Avenue, and Lynx, and this next game. So only one of these games was not played at BGG Fall.
And almost everything else was also played, but yes.
Almost everything else played at Fall, which is amazing.
Yes.
Like, what would we have put if we didn't play all these games at BGG? It's weird.
No, it's good.
Yeah, it's really good. So anyway, our number 7 game, also a W. Eric Martin special from our friend Freedom and Freeze at 2F Spiel, Fischen or Fishing. It's Fischen in German.
Yeah, but it's
But
fishing.
when it is released in the US, my fishing definitely bigger than your fishing.
That's true.
So, for those who enjoy trick-taking games, this is a trick-taking game, but not just any trick-taking game. This trick-taking game has a deck that will evolve over time.
It's crazy.
It's weird.
It's crazy.
So, you're going to get points if you get a lot of you win a lot of tricks. That's good that you get a lot of points. Here's the catch. Those cards that you have collected in your tricks are going to be part of your hand next round.
Next or future rounds.
Or at least you'll shuffle those up and you will draw your hand limit. All the other cards stay in your personal deck.
Which
Everyone
is
else,
or good.
which is good that you got points, but bad because everyone else gets the upgraded deck cards. For example, let's say that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the deck starts off with values 1 through 10 or 1 through 12, something like that. Well, they start introducing trump suit cards and cards that are above a 12, like a 13 or a 14 in those colors. So all of those level 2 cards get shuffled up together and distributed to people that cannot make the draw up to the hand limit. So maybe it's good to not take anything, and then I've got a bunch of good cards, which means I'm going to win a lot of tricks next turn, which means I'm going to have those cards for the third hand, and everybody else is going to get the upgraded, maybe the tier 3 cards or tier 4 cards.
Let's just say you don't want to run the table.
You don't, and
it's round.
You don't, and you do, and you don't.
No, you don't.
That's what makes this game very interesting.
If you take all the cards, then every other person's gonna upgrade their cards, their whole deck to new, better cards, and you're gonna be sitting there with a stack of cards
that are useless.
Useless for the next 3 rounds that you need to, like 3 rounds.
And you start sloughing off those cards and only coming in when you know the ones you can get are really good. You might think, well, it's solvable, but I don't think so, because there are certain cards that will let you steal one of your choice. There are cards that will you can play just to slough off, and you're gonna win this. Well, great, you're gonna win this, and you're gonna get this horrible 2 or 3.
Yeah, I don't think it's solvable because you're gonna shuffle up the initial cards and deal them out, so you're never gonna have the same starting hand. So and you don't know how people are gonna play cards.
This has the potential to go much higher on my list. We only played 1 game of it though.
Yeah.
But this definitely has for me, it will be a definite keeper game regardless.
Oh yeah.
And could go up. I don't think it could go down on my list. It can go higher.
Yeah. So, Friedemann is always like, he has all these like really interesting ideas in his games. So this definitely shows one of those really interesting ideas.
His mind works really uniquely, and we enjoy playing games with him when we see him in April.
Yes.
Like at least 1 or 2 nights in April every year, we play all the weird games that he has acquired. So yeah. Matter of fact, there was somebody, a little side story about Friedemann. Somebody came up to him during this convention that we go to in April and said something about something weird. And he's like, maybe I could come up with a game about that. And he said, and they said, well, yeah, go ahead and do it. By the next morning, he had a prototype ready. I mean, that's fantastic. This guy's mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine he's sitting there in the bed, staring at the ceiling, going, I've got this. I've got it. And it starts.
Probably true.
This is
probably
it's
true.
totally him.
And it's probably in green.
And it's definitely in green.
Definitely in green.
Fishing from 2F Spiel.
Yeah.
My number 6 game we've already talked about because it was your number 8 game. My number 6 game, Lynx from Play to Z Games.
That's right.
I definitely enjoy the mechanic of how if you hunt a bunch of lynx and it's really expensive, the more you catch, then the hare population will explode, which will cause the lynx population to go up. But if you ever overhunt the hares, then there's not enough lynx the lynx loses its food supply and the lynx population goes down, making the lynx even scarcer. And so that's a weird sort of following market mechanic. It's not as simple as, when you buy all of the red cubes, the reds become really scarce and more expensive. And when you sell them all, then they become plentiful and cheap. It's not as simple as that. It's got this weird sort of...
But it works.
It works 100%.
Yeah, it works.
Because you can see it happening in front of you as you're doing it. As that year's hunting is happening, you're like, oh, hares have gone down. Now lynx are going to go down. And now I've got to think, what am I going to do next hunting year? Do I sell pelts? Do I do an off-season move?
That's right.
It's fairly unique as far as market mechanics go, and highly thematic. Anyone who knows me knows I love a good thematic game. Definitely worth checking out. Lynx from Play to Z. Thanks, Steph.
Yeah. All right, guess what? We have a crossover again.
Oh, your number 6 is my number 5, not provided by the publisher.
Nope. But we
haven't
played it. It's a big Euro game.
And also played at BGG-Con.
Yes.
Because that's what happens, right?
Yes.
Mennefer from Ludo Nova.
Most people know that I love the Egyptian theme, and I was drawn to this one, so I was really curious to check it out. So Aldi let us borrow his copy to play it, and we were at that table for a while. We ended up playing with 4 players, and it's a fairly involved Euro game with a lot of moving parts, a lot of different areas to explore.
A lot of scoring zones, so to speak. A lot like a lot of the T games have.
Right.
To Mennefer.
It actually feels like a bigger T game.
It does.
So that's interesting. But what's cool about this game, besides the theme and all the things you're doing, is how you're spending your 9 actions in the round. Is you're placing and you're moving to the next section of an action space, and you're grabbing these tiles. So in some sort of order, you're doing all these things, and it's a matter of timing. So I love games with timing, because if you wait too long and people are in a space that you want to go to, then you have to spend so much more resources to go there. So if a space suddenly opens up, well, you go there, even though you put aside what you're gonna previously planning on doing, even though what you're gonna do is probably better for you, but you're not spending the extra resources if you go there now.
Yeah, so if you took action 1 and Aldi takes action 2, I need to consider taking action 3, even though I wanted action 1, because if I take action 1, I'm sharing the space with her, and then I'm paying more for that action.
Yes.
And then when your piece moves, let's say she moves her piece from 1A to 1B.
Yeah.
I'm behind her again.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to spend extra then too.
Unless I wait for you to do 1C moving off of 1B.
You never go to C.
But true.
It's only 1A and 1B.
Yeah, but it's you're going to get the C component of that. But yeah, you have to make sure to, like, I'm hoping she goes to action 4 so that I can do 1B before she does 1B. So that way it makes her pay extra instead of me pay extra. But maybe I do substandard action 3 just so I'm not, maybe she wanted to do 3. And so she's going to have to.
Yeah, so Kimmy's like worker placement. I'm assuming it is a
absolutely
placement game, but you have to think about how you're spending these workers, because like you said, if you go to spot B or spot 1, you're gonna have to go to 1A and 1B, and the timing of
and then get bonus of 1C when it comes time, or of collecting the new tile.
Yeah, so that's the third possible action you're doing. Is not related to these workers, but you're taking a tile, preparing for next round.
Yes,
which is hard because you're like, okay, I want these tiles, but do I want these actions next round?
But I want this tile, so I need to progress on this 1A, 1B before I can get the tile. Then I can get the tile because there's one I really, really want, and it's cheap.
Yeah, so
timing is everything.
Yeah, this game has a lot of like critical points like that, because you just don't have all the resources just to keep spending tons and tons of fish or whatever to visit the same spot other people are at.
Right.
So there are
a lot of things to do. You can advance on the stone block track, which will enable you to build either the Great Pyramids or the little, I think they're called Queen's Pyramids, or the smaller ones on the side of those. The Great Pyramid, you're like putting one part of a block on there.
Right.
You can embalm your mummies in preparation to put them in the tombs, then later put them in the tombs where you qualify to place them. You could send your priests or priestesses into the temple and then qualify to give offerings at the temple based on how far you've moved into the temple.
But you have to first acquire.
But you have
to like get those goods.
Exactly.
Those offerings. So you have to figure out ways of getting and preparing yourself for the actions you want to do, all while everybody else is doing the same thing. So you have to like maybe pivot. I had to pivot just because everybody started doing what I was doing. I'm like, really? I need to not be what you're doing. And that's why Michael like ran away with it, because nobody else was doing what you were doing.
Well, another reason why I ran away with it is I completely ignored some of the abilities. Like, I sent not one priest into the temple.
Well, that's what we were all doing.
Not one, and all of y'all were.
So then I had to not do that. So then I pivoted to starting to do all the like my mummy actions. And that got me a lot of points actually by the end. But it's like, I should have started that sooner. I didn't get any of the Sphinx done, so I ignored that completely.
Oh yeah, and the Sphinx. I forgot to mention you can build Sphinxes.
Yeah, and I didn't move up the water as much as you did, but you kind of need to because there's gold tiles that you want to get.
You got to move up the water too.
That's what you were doing. So
I was doing that.
A lot to do, and so with your limited workers, you have to plan and try and advance on these different tracks. Yes, there's tracks. It is very much like a T game.
It really is like a T game.
If you like the T series from Board and Dice, I think you'll probably really like this one. I want to play it again.
Yes,
it's a big game.
We do not have a copy from Ludonova, so Ludonova.
But
if you send it to us, we will stream it. We will stream it.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
I really like it.
So I worry that there are some actions you don't have to do in order to win. I worry that there are some actions that you must do in order to win. And I almost worry that there are too many things to do on the board. That said, I love the mechanisms. I love the fact that I don't think I've got this figured out,
Yeah,
even though I
But-
ran away with it.
figure it out because I was trying to plan the best I could, but then the tile, like, I realized, okay, I want to match up the symbols with the tiles if I can, but it's not the end of the world if I don't.
If you
So
don't,
drafting
right.
those tiles, getting the actions that you want is way more important than matching the symbols.
Yeah, I tried to match the symbols, and then I thought,
Why am I doing that? It's just a
I
point.
want
It's
this
just a-
action.
I know. So yeah.
So, but that's another weird thing is that here's ways to get points with the tiles you get. Here's ways to get points with the sphinxes. Here's ways to get points with burying. Here's ways. These burial points you're going to get at the end of the game, but you need to put them in certain configurations. Priestesses are the ways to get points in the game. Sending them up the river ways to a lot of
It feels like
point
a feld
salad.
also.
It does feel like a feld.
We might
but-
do another feld on this list.
But none of that dissuades me from this game. I think it has the potential to go higher. But and that's why it's here instead of ahead of these other 4 excellent games on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot more to explore here.
I do too.
And trivia, Mennefer, in case you haven't heard of it before, it is the real way to pronounce the city, the Egyptian city, Memphis. Yeah.
Mennefer.
Yeah.
Nice.
Interesting. That is Mennefer by Ludo Nova.
Yeah.
Your number 6, my number 5. So that means it's time for your number 5, which I did not get to play.
Nope. I played this
At BGG.
called Black Forest.
Look how beautiful that is.
I mean,
Just look at it.
stunning. I had to play this one. I had to play this one as soon as possible.
Not provided by the publisher.
Not yet.
Not yet. We do have a good relationship with Capstone.
Because Uwe Rosenberg, obviously. Well,
And
his name is on it, but I think the other name on the box, actually, that guy finished the game is my understanding.
so
I don't know much about how or why this came to be, but I know it's been in the works. Like, I first heard about this, like, I want to say like 8, 9, 10 years ago or something. Like, I first heard Black Forest long ago, but I guess it was never finished. So my understanding also is that Glass Road, for those who play Glass Road, I think Uwe Rosenberg wanted it to be a bigger experienced game.
so that's this.
So I think that's what this is. That being said, I love Glass Road, and I'm glad it is what it is because I think Glass Road's amazing. The card play and everything. So in this game, you do have the wheels, the resource wheels that you will use, and you'll automatically make whatever the provision or I forget the other resource on. I only played it the one time.
I wish I could help you.
I know he didn't play it, but so you're still pushing along these wheels and creating these specialty items. But the way you're going to take actions is on a game board instead of using cards that you would in Glass Road. Have you played Glass Road?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well,
So-
when you're talking about pushing wheels, I'm like, oh, hey, that sounds like Glass Road.
Well, yeah, it's very much Glass Road. That, like a lot of Uwe Rosenberg games, there's a big display of tiles that you can buy during the game. It will cost some number of resources. Much like Glass Road, it has little pictures of the resources that you need. But it's more like Caverna in that everything is out. However, there's ways that you can set up the game each time that will have like 10 different sides.
Good.
So it will depend on what you're flipping each game to give you that variability that I know Michael likes.
I love it.
I love Caverna
Replayability,
anyway.
variability, randomness. Yes, give me more.
So the hard part of this game is it's worker movement because you're moving from location to location on the board, and you're going to have to spend provisions to travel to different cities. You'll also have to spend resources if you're going into a city where other people are because it's stressful or something. I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason. But so you've got to plan your actions wisely. All of the locations on the board, have similar actions that you would find on the Glass Road cards. So it's not all conveniently in your hand, but you're going to have to figure out how to move around the board to do the actions you want to do. There are sheep and cows, maybe just cows. I don't know. You have a farm. You're gonna have some farm land that you'll want to clear off and then put your little meeples on, which
Can they share your room with you?
no, no. So the ultimate question is, do I like this more than his other games? I would say no. I think there's a lot to explore here. I do like the game quite a bit. Obviously, it made my number 5.
I mean, yeah.
Because I still love it, but would I choose to play this over Glass Road? Probably not. People are comparing it to Aura at Labora. I don't see that as much. I also love Aura at Labora. So
Do you think that with more plays, Black Forest might be more played than Glass Road? Or is it just
I don't think
too
it'll ever be
big?
more played than
Mm.
Glass Road. But that said, I'm not like never gonna play this game. I want to play this game. I want to see and explore more of the buildings and strategies because that's what I love so much about Uwe Rosenberg games in general. That all those buildings and all those things to do and how to do it best is like I love that. I love that. So, beautiful game. I gotta play it more, and maybe it will go up.
Maybe it will.
To be fair, the 4 games above it on this list
Are fantastic.
are really, really great.
The 4 games above it are fantastic.
So I also I've only played it once. So again, this could easily go up with more plays. And I assume I will like it even more with more plays. So we'll see. And Michael will have to play it eventually too.
That's right. That is your number 5 Black Forest Capstone Games.
Yes.
So, I'm going to give a slight spoiler.
Whoa.
The top 4 games on my list are the top 4 games on your list.
Total spoiler.
But it's not in that order. So, when we talk about a game, we're going to go ahead and just say everything we like about the game so that when we come to those games, we'll just say, hey, look, it's that game.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about our top 4 games on this list, how good they are, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason to hide it, the fact that these games are the cream of the crop of November.
That's right.
Am I right?
They're really great.
They're really great.
Yeah.
So, number 4 on my list, we are going to play tonight.
Yeah, we're going to play it right after.
And if you're interested in seeing the rules, teach, and playthrough, it'll be available on YouTube probably by the time you're watching this video. Unless you're watching it with us on Twitch, in which case it's after this.
Yes.
Thorgal or Thorgal. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it the right way, but it's Thorgal, the board game from Portal Games. So as I wasn't even sure it was Portal Games when I was looking originally being taught the rules, because Ali taught us the game. But I start seeing some iconography and I'm like, that looks a whole lot like Robinson Crusoe. And he's like, yeah, this is Portal Games. I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. Thorgal is a cooperative scenario-based exploration adventure game where you're trying to complete the scenario, much in the same vein as Robinson Crusoe. You're trying to win a scenario cooperatively. So you've got characters that have their own abilities. There are multi-use polyominoes. James has messed me up calling them polyominoes.
No.
Or polynomials, he said. They can be used to defeat enemies. They can be used on these journey cards, and they are used as wounds. So, I like multi-use cards. I also like multi-use polyominoes.
Yeah.
That is
different.
It's different. It takes some thought to do something like that.
Yes.
Especially since Robinson Crusoe didn't use them at all.
Yeah.
So, that's right. Movember means more in November. So there are resources to collect. There are resources to deliver. There are actions you can take. And it's sort of like, let's say you do something. You visit this spot. You're going to read a selection in the book. You're going to do what it says. It might upgrade one of the actions. It might maybe take a monster away from one area and move it to another area, or a guard, or whatever that bad guy is. You might get some upgrades to your combat abilities. Oh, hey, I've got to do combat. I'm rolling 2 green dice. That's pretty bad. I'm going to roll those dice, and I'm going to get the polyominoes that are shown on those green dice. Maybe I upgrade my combat abilities. Now I'm rolling a green and a yellow, or a green and a orange. That's even better, because I'm upgrading those dice to polyominoes with more squares, trying to cover up the wound squares on those critters. A lot of good exploration space here. We've played Adventure 1 twice. We beat it once. We lost the first time.
We lost horribly the first time.
Horribly. And then we barely won in a 4-player game.
Yes.
Probably going to play Scenario 2 tonight, so that whenever y'all play and you play Scenario 1, it's totally different from number 2.
Yes. So for me, I agree with all what you said.
All of it.
Yeah, I like all that. But I also really enjoy how they do the action selection in this game.
Oh, absolutely. It's so good.
You have these 4 action pawns that you're taking and using these action spaces in a line. And so what's interesting about it is, once I go to space 2, I flip over my token, and then anybody going to the right of that might be able to get a bonus, because a lot of the bonuses for the different actions will require you other discs below it in the line. So
to the left.
Yes. Yeah. So it's interesting, because you're like, if I set this up now and do this action now, I can get a bonus later on for over here. And these tokens stay there. So, starting the next round, all these tokens flip back over in their space. So if there are 3 at the bottom and towards the left side, taking a higher action will give you some really cool bonuses that might help you out with, like, defeating a monster or something. And so as you upgrade your action cards, they might shift down. And so it's just interesting how it all works and comes together, in my opinion.
Yes.
So there's a lot of really cool, unique mechanisms in this game that I really enjoyed it. So I'm excited to play the second scenario tonight to see how we do.
So Kimmy has asked, are the scenarios as hard as Robinson Crusoe? Well, we've only played the first one.
Yes.
And considering we got beat on the first one and improved the second time,
right,
I would say yes, they now, so let me preface this. You've never beaten Robinson Crusoe even once.
To be fair, I haven't played that many times.
I have beaten Robinson Crusoe, but I think that this is equivalent-ish in difficulty. That said, games with simple difficulties, I usually tend to, cooperatively, we beat them thoroughly. I like having a good challenge in front of me. It seems insurmountable, but we can find the way to make the victory happen. And I don't feel like the first time I was cheated out of the victory. It did seem like it was almost overwhelming, but the second time we managed it much, much better.
Because we kind of knew what to expect.
Matter of fact, we weren't sure we were going to beat it the second time.
Yeah, that's true.
So
it kind of fell into place.
Yeah, so James was stuck too far away from the area where everybody needed to be, and he's like, well, I can't really help you. I can't really catch up. And ultimately, he was not able to provide any assistance. Fortunately, Steph was in a good position and picked up the last piece we needed to make everything happen. But we also got certain event cards that made it a little easier for us, and so that we were able to handle it.
But we also had event cards that directly opposed what we were just about to do.
I mean,
so
100%.
We cannot do this anymore. And that was the whole plan, was to do this one thing. And then we couldn't do it. So
yeah, it was like, spend all your stone cards. No, I needed
we
the stone.
that. We just worked so hard to get the stone. And then you lose all your stone.
Because the stone was going to go into an action that was going to upgrade whatever it was, our movement or something.
Our movement.
And it was, oh yeah, oh no. But I love things like that
It's
in
But
games.
Stan said this one came out right now. Like, of course it
Yes.
did. Of course it did.
So, considering this is also not your number 4,
Yeah, I did like it more than
is
you.
I don't know if it's more than me, but it is higher on your list.
Higher on my list.
So
there we go.
We will see where Thorgal is on your list. Does anybody know if this is an IP based game? I think it looks like comics.
I don't know,
but we don't know. Highly recommend checking out. Provided to us by Portal Games, Thorgal, the board game.
Yeah. My number 4 is Civolution from Pegasus and Deep Print Games.
Pegasus knocking it out of the park.
Yeah,
the last few months.
There's been a lot of amazing Pegasus games this year, so you have to go check out their catalog. It's amazing. But Civolution, the next big, huge Feld title, and by big I mean it's really big.
Really big.
It's a big game. Another really big table hog.
Yes.
It's heavy, like literally heavy. But
super fun.
Super fun. This is a dice action game, kind of like Burgundy in that you're using 2 dice to take an action, right? You're using your 2 dice that you have, and you're taking this action and doing little things out on the board, maybe having a baby, or or maybe building a statue, or building a boat, or moving your guys around, or I don't know. There's a lot of
exploring one of the tiles.
Yeah, there's a lot of different actions you're doing in this game. So a big hurdle of this game is actually learning the game because there are so many actions and it's hard to build that strategy in a first place. So I highly recommend playing it more than once, just because you kind of understand after the first game how you can go about doing a little bit better in your second play, and just to get those extra points. But the game is variable because you're setting up the board a little differently every time, and you have different goals that you're working on every game, and you have a deck of events and you're only using like 4 of them in the game. So you really have to focus in this game on what the game presents to you. So if you're going to score for these 4 things during the game, well, you need to focus on that if you want to get the most points.
Gotta focus.
I don't know how thematic it feels because I'm not really connected to the theme here, but
it doesn't really feel like I am creating a civilization. But it's Civolution, so it's civilization evolution. I don't know. I like the fact that on your player board you've got spots to collect resources and get tiles and move stuff around on your little resources area. So it's like a multi-use player board. And the area above your player board is where you put tiles in order to get scoring bonuses. So I like that little quirk of a mechanic. But then you've also got everything going on the variable player board, the map, so to speak.
Yeah.
I know you're not big on action on what's the term I'm thinking of, where you got 4 different meeples on a spot. It's going to beat area control. Thank you. It's like what am I coming up here? I'm thinking action selection. No, area control. I know you're not big on area control, but there are certain places you can go to get you some points, and then if I control this area, then I'm going to get some sort of a benefit. But still, you enjoyed it enough to put it number 4.
Oh yeah, good. No, there's a lot more to this game than just manipulating what you have on the game board, but that is a big part of the game because you want to have guys on the board because the guys will score you every round and at the end of the game as well. So there's a lot of things that are going to score at the end of the game. You focus on the ones that will get you the most points. And you want to upgrade your actions. You have to figure out ways that you can upgrade your actions. basic action can be upgraded twice to get to a level 3.
Mhm.
And the higher the action is, the more opportunities you'll have to do things. Like
Bonuses.
instead of moving one guy, you might be able to move two guys. Like that's double the actions, right? So yeah, you definitely need.
Definitely want to upgrade your actions.
Yeah,
I did not always put out a lot of dudes.
I know, and
on
that's
the
why you
map.
lost. I think you need guys on the board.
And despite losing, this was not my number 4. I rated it even higher. Just proving again,
I do think
games
you
where
need-
I lose.
I think if there's one thing in this game that you need to do is to populate, because you have to figure out how to feed them. But yes, you get points every round, and it's, I don't know. I think I've won like every game I've played. So I don't know. Every game I've played, I've made more and more population on the board.
Maybe that's a pro tip.
Pro tip:
Populate
populate.
with Civolution.
Humble brag. I know.
Kimmy, she really did. She really does. There are certain games that's
So
nucleum. She
to that point, though, if you are gonna go teach, like if I were gonna go teach new players this game, I would win. Like it's so much to process.
there's a lot to
It
think about.
There's no hope for an experienced gamer that's played this game multiple times with a new gamer. Like if you have a problem with that, this is a game it won't be for you, because there's no way to give a new player a catch-up mechanic. I don't
Right.
think. I just don't think that's
Or-
possible.
Right, or give some sort of a detriment to the experienced player
Right.
to try to set them back. You just can't. But yeah, Kimmy says that's how I feel about
Yeah,
Tapestry.
that's fair. Tapestry,
Absolutely.
I don't think I've won Tapestry, so I think I've won like one of like 12 games. Like I never win Tapestry.
I won that one.
I still like Tapestry quite a bit, but it's the same thing. Like if you're going into this, you can help guide gamers into doing a strategy and stuff, but there's a lot to explore, and a new gamer probably just won't
Right.
get it right off the bat.
Or even an experienced gamer playing it for the first time. Still, it's
a lot.
It's a lot.
And you're
just
like,
Minifer is a lot.
There's no real direction on what to do. There's a lot of good options for you, but it's your world to discover what's out there.
There's Cosmic Beat.
So, yeah, Michael and I played twice, and I taught two games to people, and yeah, it was good.
Right. Kimmy's like, my friends know the meta. They get like 100 more than me. I'm like, who's this fun for? I'm not having fun. You're not having a challenge. That is totally fair. And that's why, like, there are certain games that I play with Steph that if she plays 100 games of it on BGA, I'm like, I'm never going to get to play this game with you anymore, because you're at this level now and I'm at this level, and I'm never going to give you a challenge. Then you're getting pouty face over here. So that is your number 4 game, Civolution by Pegasus and Deep Print.
Yeah.
Our number 3s.
The same.
This is going to be a spoiler because it's not going to be Thorgal or Civolution. It is the same.
Yes.
But it's by a publisher that's been knocking it out of the park. Didn't we just say?
Yes.
Pegasus?
Knocking out of the Dorfromantik Secure Park.
Knocking it out of the Dorfromantik Secure Park. And my dwarf is bigger than your dwarf. Because I'm bigger. Yes. So Michael's solution is you play 100 games with a 100 by 100 and beat Steph. Cosmic just picked up Dorfromantik Duel. We do not have it yet.
No, I'm sure that will make the list whenever we get it. Because that one too.
Pegasus will send it and we will love it.
Yes.
100%. So, 2.5 years ago, we played Dorfromantik.
Yes.
The board game. Loved it.
Yes.
It was high on our list that month. I don't remember how high up it ranked, but it was high on our list.
Yes.
The person who introduced it to us, we love you, Nils, he said that he thought it was going to be the Spiel winner that year. And I don't think it was.
I don't think it was either.
But we absolutely love it. It is a campaign style game where you are opening up different things as you're going along. Pegasus has gotten really good at that,
Yeah.
at campaign style games.
Love it.
This,
Love it.
almost identically similar, but we have not opened up the advanced packets yet. We have played 2 games of it, and I think the base game is just like
The base game.
Dorfromantik base game.
Yeah.
But it opens up different things.
Yeah, so beautiful. So much fun. I just want to keep playing. It's just so it's funny. After I played the board game Dorfromantik, I'm like, okay, I'll download the video, like the computer game. And then when I did and I played it, I sat there for like 48 hours, just like,
yeah, this is why you can't get into computer games.
get so into it. And the board game does a great job. It felt just like the computer game, which actually feels like a board game. It's so good. It's so much fun.
It's so much fun.
So I'm very excited to.
We would be watching shows and you'd be clicking away.
Addicted.
Yeah.
And so get back to that this Christmas time.
So basically in Dorfromantik, for those of you who haven't played, you are going to be drawing location tiles, which are hexes, and you are lining them up to make groups of things. You're also given tasks tiles, like you will draw a village tile and you'll draw a village token, and it'll say a 4, 5, or 6 on it. That means you have to create a 4-spot connected village to complete that task. Then you get a new task because you'll have 3 tasks going simultaneously. Best case scenario, you draw another village and a 5. Hey, I just created a 4. Boom, there's my 5-size village. Or a 6-size village. And then you create as many of those tasks as you can. The more tasks you do, the more points you'll get. And the more points you'll get, the more spots you'll mark off your little path. And along the way, on the journey path, you're going to unlock more boxes, which will unlock more abilities, which will unlock more points, which will get you more things along the journey. So, highly recommend games like this.
Oh yeah.
Anything that unlocks things to give more powers, maybe like Bomb Busters, another Pegasus Spiel hit from 2024. This game high on our list, Bomb Busters high on our list. Now we did not finish Dorfromantik because all the games. But it is definitely a game that is A, a keeper, and B, a game we're going to want to play.
Well, maybe when we're done with Bomb Busters, we can play more Dorfromantik.
I think that is a plan.
Yes.
Hello, Aldi. Woo!
We're talking about you.
We were talking about you because Thorgal made our list as number 4 for me and to be determined for Steph because we're on our number 3 game of the month. Most of the games that are on our list this month are on here because we went to BGG Con.
That's right. That's where all the good gaming happens.
That's where all the great gaming happens. We have not. We are going to play
right after this. We'll be playing
tonight.
More of that. We're going to play Mission 2.
Mission 2. That's right.
Number 3 on our list was Dorfromantik Sakura.
That's right.
We love it.
We love it. Number 2, we have already talked about on my side because my number 2 is Civolution from Pegasus and Deep Print Games. And your number 2, we've already talked about because it is Thorgal, the board game from Portal Games. So, as we said, we can now move right along because you know how we feel about these games.
We love them.
Yes.
Obviously, we swapped our.
We swapped our 4s and 2s.
But it's a matter of preference, right? But even still, they're all great games. So
Yeah, Aldi Dorf 2 is pretty much almost identical to Dorf 1 until you start opening up boxes, in which case things are a little bit different.
yeah, so we're gonna start.
We're gonna start
second
that.
one with Dorf.
Yeah, for some reason only the even numbers got swapped. Our number 1s are identical,
Obviously.
but you may not know what it is, but we know what it is. We've already streamed it,
Yeah, we streamed it.
so you've already seen it played. It is Endeavor Deep Sea from Grand Gamers Guild. And my Endeavor's bigger than your Endeavor.
No, it's good. No, it's amazing. This
It's
game
amazing.
is so good. I loved Endeavor, but
Yes.
they definitely elevated that experience with this game. I am so impressed. I love the theme of like deep sea, like exploring.
And you can't even dive down until you've gained the ability to dive down.
Yeah.
And go deeper and farther.
Yeah.
So
no, it's super great. It takes a lot of the core mechanics of Endeavor and they bring it over into Endeavor Deep Sea. It is by Grand Gamers Guild.
Said that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Burnt Island Games. Both of them, they combined joint effort it.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so if you're a fan of Endeavor, they actually
it's a no-brainer.
They redid it. These two Grand Gamers and Burnt Island. They redid it as Age of Sail in a beautiful green box. But so they're keeping up the great quality with this game, and I'm glad they're keeping it alive because it's so cool. And this also has scenarios.
Right. So I fell in love. Oh yeah, it does. I fell in love with Endeavor back when it was the brown backpack.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Me too.
Fell in love with it from minute 1. Bought it years and years before I met you.
Yes.
And then have not had a chance to play it again. And I have not played the new Age of Sail version. So this is my first Endeavor experience since so many years ago with the old long out of print backpack edition.
I know.
But yeah, it's fantastic. Love being able to go out and put all my tokens on the little spots as I am exploring them and taking the tokens, especially when I know that's what Steph's next move is. So I'm gonna take that token from her.
I'll do something else.
Both games we played of that had those caves.
Yeah.
Where you have to go around the cave and explore it from the outside. And so that's weird.
That's fun. Yeah.
But there are certain scenarios, but the maps are never identical because you're drawing the tiles out randomly. The first few you have are always the same. The scenario is the same. In a scenario has the same objectives, but you don't have the same tiles on the board.
But even still, a scenario will have a different setup. Like scenario 1 and scenario 2 will have different setups.
Absolutely different. Yes.
There's different.
Scenario 2 will always have the same starting setup, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That said, it still has just a ton of replayability because you don't know what's underneath the water until you've explored.
I think you'll really like it, Cosmic Pete.
I think so as well. And Aldi's playing next weekend.
That's great. Let us know.
You're gonna love it.
Yes.
Welcome back, Jelfia. So Aldi, if you need a teach through, then we have that video already ready for you.
That's true. Has all the rules.
All the rules.
No, so we're checking out.
Give a quick rundown of our top 10s. My number 10, Link City from Blue Orange. My number 9, What the Fog from 999 Games. Number 8, Habachi from Matago. Number 7, Fishin' from 2F Spiel. Number 6, Lynx from Play to Z Games. Number 5, Menifer from Ludo Nova. Number 4, Thorgal, the board game from Portal Games. Number 3, Dorfromantik Sakura from Pegasus Spiel. Number 2, Civolution from Pegasus and Deep Print Games. And number 1, Endeavor Deep Sea from Grand Gamers Guild and Burnt Island Games. All but 3 of those, I believe 3 of those played at BGG Con.
Yep. Even I played Civolution at BGG though.
Oh yeah, you played it when I was doing other things.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Number 10 for me was Unconscious Mind from Lucky Duck Games. Number 9 was Agent Avenue from Nerd Lab. Number 8 was Lynx from Play to Z Games. Number 7 was Fishing from 2F Spiel. Number 6 was Menifer from Ludonova. Number 5, Black Forest from Capstone Games. Number 4, Civolution from Pegasus and Deep Print. Number 3 was Dorfromantik Sakura from Pegasus Spiel. Number 2 was Thorgal, the board game from Portal Games. And number 1, Endeavor Deep Sea from Grand Gamers Guild and Burnt Island.
And that's our top 10 for November. We've got at least 30 to 35 games to play for December to get us over the 500 mark, which is 100 lower than you usually have because we had our move that went on.
I know.
It's been a busy year.
We've been like so busy, but we'll get back to it. I mean, we got a lot of games to play, so we'll keep it up.
We got to keep up those numbers. Plus, you've got vacation, so we've got to do it. Make sure to check out Steph's awesome gaming calendar 2025 on sale now. Be sure to check that out. And look how beautiful that is.
I just put rainbows on my birthday month.
Because it's your birthday month and all the rainbows, all the games.
That's right. So check that out. We'll be back at the end of the year with our December update and our overall 2024.
The top 24 of 2024. As we do.
We're at 25 though.
No, I will have tops 26 in 2026. You don't have to.
That's too many.
But I'm going to do it. Free!
Alrighty. Well, that seems great. So if you're interested in learning more about Thorgal, we'll be playing that next.
That's right. Oh, Jelfia said, I need to change my calendar. It's December now. Everyone.
Yes, change it.
Stay vigilant. It is now December 1st. Do not get sent to Whamhalla.
Do it because it's a great song.
We will see you the start of January.
Yes.
With both of those lists.
Yeah.
And hopefully we have over 500 because it would be a shame to come in at 498.
Mm-hmm. No, we're getting fine. We're getting. I need to learn 30 games. It should be no problem, right?
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. Until then.
Yep. So if you enjoyed this top 10 list, you should check us out every single month. And you can find all of our past ones. You're going to find interesting stuff. If you go back to our October, September, August list from 2024, because those games are still hot now. Go check them out on YouTube. Just search for Board Gamer Steph. That's you. Or even better, you can check us out live on twitch.tv/BoardGamerSteph, where we stream every Wednesday and Sunday night at 5 p.m. Central, and we stream 3 games or more every single stream. So come join us on Twitch, where we play all the games.
For those on Twitch, we'll be right back.
Woohoo!